Everybody. My name is Athena. Today I'm here with Celia. I'll pass it over to Celia to introduce yourself a little bit, and then we'll get into some questions. Celia, take it away.
Great. Thanks. Good to see you. So I'm Celia, and I'm a health and wellness coach. I also have a master's in social work. So I really like that both those fields kind of work really well together to help people focus on their health. And that's my focus, is to help you build a healthy lifestyle with habits that you can sustain.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Sounds amazing. So within that, do you have any specific focuses or goals that you usually set out for people who come to seek your services?
Yeah, I mean, usually it is around food. No, first of all, nutrition. Sometimes it's weight. Sometimes it's digestive issues. That's usually the start. But all your other habits influence how you're eating and living the rest of your life. So we usually hit on the other ones too to help you get into that healthy lifestyle. But there's just really easy tweaks you can make to what you're doing with nutrition, to make it sustainable, so that it doesn't feel like so overwhelming, because I know there's a lot of information out there and it can feel really overwhelming.
Yeah, it definitely can. You always see the posts on like Instagram and social media telling you what to do. So
Yeah, and all the tests to take and all the sensitivities you have. And yeah, usually it's you just kind of need to reset your gut and make some small changes, and you'll get there.
perfect. Could you tell us a little bit about how you think gut health and mental health are related?
Oh, yeah. So I'm sure everybody's heard, the gut brain connection and all of that is so much more in the news now. But I've been doing this for, over 10 years, and that's really so much of the focus, because what we eat really does influence not only us physically, but our brain, our mental health. You might, once you kind of start paying attention, you can see like certain foods, certain things that start making you feel more anxious or feeling less excited, decrease your energy, increase your cravings. So it all really works together. And our stress, especially, I think the past couple of years have really highlighted that for us, unfortunately, or fortunately. We're now more aware of it, that the more stressed we are, the more that's influencing our digestion and our health.
Mm-hmm. What are some easy, quick ways to fix up our gut health, especially for college kids who don't always have access to like a kitchen and eating clean? What are just, I don't
Yeah.
want to say quick and easy, but
Yeah. So, I think the quick, and when you think quick and easy, you usually think processed, right? It's something to grab that's processed. And that's where the danger comes in, because there's a lot of fillers, a lot of extra sugars, and that's what you have to watch out for. So if you can step away from the processed things and make your own, if you do have available, like, first of all, if you just have a little small blender, you're gold. Like, you can do a lot in a little bullet blender. Especially shakes. That's one of the really easy things. You can use all whole foods. And I like that because it's something that not only can you make it easily, but you can take it with you easily, and you can have it anywhere. You can be drinking it in class and it's not a big deal, versus, pulling something out to try to eat, or if you have to reheat something. So that's kind of my first go-to. Another thing is like a bag of nuts, berries, and some dark chocolate. That's a great alternative to even purchasing like a trail mix that has a lot of extra stuff added to it. Got to watch the fruit. The dried fruit can be, too much sugar. So if, you can do hard boiled eggs if you have a way to boil eggs. I'm not sure, wherever you are, sometimes there's like a community kitchen, right, where you would have a stove and an oven. You could do some really easy things there. You can make, there's egg, like muffin tins. You can make like an egg frittata in a muffin tin. Super easy, just a bunch of vegetables, eggs, bake them, and you can eat those hot or cold. So that's really easy.
What if there is no community kitchen? It's just like a microwave, a blender, and a mini fridge, because that's how my freshman year was kind of set up.
Okay. Well, the blender is going to be, because you can make a lot of different like dips in a blender, the shakes again. The microwave, I mean, you can microwave like eggs. You can do scrambled eggs in a microwave. What was the other
I
product?
have a mini fridge, a microwave, and like a NutriBullet thing.
Yeah. So the mini fridge too, like just doing small. I see somebody saying something about meal prep, and that's like my favorite thing to do because when you're stressed and you're busy, if you haven't meal prepped, that's where you're gonna, grab for those quick things that are usually more processed.
Mm-hmm.
So like meal prepping, you could do you could do brown rice, quinoa in the microwave. You could have that in a container in the fridge. You could also do your eggs that way. You could do some vegetables that way. And then there's a meal right there. You could just put in some vegetables, the rice. If eggs your protein, if you have another protein you want to do, just add that in there. That's super easy and super easy to take. You can even have a bag of greens and add that with a bag of greens there, and you've got like all the things you need. One easy tip that I like to share with people is to keep 4 things in mind when you're building a meal: to have your protein, your fat, your fiber, and your greens. So if you kind of like when you look at your plate or look at your meal, if you keep those 4 things in mind, it kind of is like checking off the box, like, okay, I got it. This is a well-balanced meal. It's going to keep my blood sugar even. It's going to keep my energy up and my cravings down.
Another question that's a little bit more complex because dining halls vary everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
But in a dining hall situation,
Yeah.
how can we be healthy? Because I know that for me, like we had like a salad bar and then the rest of it was like fried or like stuff that like I don't eat meat or dairy. So it was stuff that like I couldn't eat. So it was either like a side of fries and like a salad or nothing.
Yeah, that's really tough. I know. So the salad bar, thank God we got that. Start there. If you do eat meat, hopefully they have some grilled options these days now. But the other thing I think of is like, if you know ahead of time what's going to be in the meal hall, then you got to think, okay, what am I either having before I go, bringing with me, or having what after I leave, so that you're adding to it, right? So if you know, like, okay, today it's really only going to be the salad bar and there's really nothing else for me, maybe that's when you make your shake and you bring your shake with you, because that's also going to give you, I know there's greens in there, but it's also going to give you some protein, depending on how you make your shake. So that would fill you up more than just having salads. Because the problem with salads, they're super healthy, but also the dressings can add, more things that you don't want, more sugar, but also sometimes they're not filling. If you haven't added any lentils or beans to them, or tofu or another protein, they're not going to be as filling. You're going to be hungry like an hour later.
Mm-hmm.
What can you use to sub out your coffee? I definitely have a caffeine. Yeah. So, coffee is not a bad thing. It's up to every individual person. If you feel like you're doing good, but you want to maybe cut back, like I'd say a cup of coffee is okay. But, if usually the problem with coffee is what you're adding to the coffee, right? If you're adding the creamers that are filled with more sugar, you're really more of a sugar addiction than a caffeine addiction. So watch for that. There's bulletproof recipes for coffee that helps with that. So it makes it creamy, but it doesn't have added sugar. And then in replace of coffee, you could have a matcha tea, green tea, or matcha tea. They still have caffeine, but it's a slow release caffeine. So it's not that jolt. It's just a slow release, which is nice to help you get through the morning. And then just, sometimes our coffee or anything really has to do with our habits, right? So we're in the habit, and I'm all about like a warm mug and a beautiful mug to, especially in the wintertime. So it's just, what are you going to replace it with? Is it more of an herbal tea, or that green tea, so that you're replacing, because you like that habit in the morning to have that warm drink. I hope that helps. Green powders, Elena. Yeah, you do have to watch those green, same thing, like anything processed, just watch the additives, make sure that they're, stevia is a good product to have in it for a sweetener. Make sure there's no artificial sweeteners in them, but a green powder is definitely good, especially if you have a cafeteria. Like if you're not getting your greens in and it's hard, a green drink is gonna, be key right there. And it, again, makes it super easy. I'm a big fan of, especially in the mornings. Like I even do a green drink in the morning. I'm not rushing off anywhere, but I just love it. I just know I got my greens.
I have a question going off of the caffeine addiction. I know around finals time and even just like regular, I guess, college life, sometimes people start downing energy drinks at like midnight.
Yeah. Hmm.
What are the thoughts on that? And like, how does caffeine play into like anxiety and how does it become like almost cyclical, I guess, in a way?
Yeah, it really does. And it's that blood sugar issue, right? Because you're going up and then you're going down. And especially when you're up late, that's already, messing with your rhythm, your sleep rhythm and everything and your brain function. So you really want to focus on keeping your blood sugar even. So if what really is going to give you energy is going to be something that's more balanced versus the caffeine. So a healthy snack that's going to keep you up and keep your energy up would be something like you could do the nut butter with berries and some dark chocolate. That's going to keep your energy even. It's going to give you that little, the dark chocolate's going to help kind of boost you. But it's not going to be that up, that high and that low. Another really nice snack is dates with a nut butter and dark chocolate. You kind of make it like an ants on a log. You split the date open, put the nut butter in there and the chocolate chips on top. And it's super good. It's like a healthy Snickers bar and it's going to keep you even, it's not too much sugar. So think of things like that are going to keep you more even. And, if an afternoon coffee is, necessary, that's, don't think of the all or nothing thought, that's, I think we get into that trouble too, where we think all or nothing, like I'm just gonna, I'm gonna have all the stuff and it doesn't matter, or I'm gonna go 100% clean. And it doesn't have to be that way. You can find that balance. I see the person that asked about the coffee said that they're just having it black and just using some lactose-free milk. So, I mean, that's not bad at all. So if it's just that you want to maybe cut back how much coffee you're having, then, try those other hot drinks. And sometimes like a little challenge is just a mindset thing for me. Like I created a challenge, so like I'm going to have 8 ounces of water before I have that next cup of coffee, or I'm going to have 16 ounces of water before I have that next cup of coffee. To slowly try, like almost swapping it out, but also increasing my water because caffeine can decrease your hydration. So it's like a little, mindset challenge that you give yourself to break the habit.
Yeah, I definitely think that makes it a little bit more fun. I try to do the same thing. I try to replace like a coffee with the matcha. I've been doing that recently, but before that, it was just like a plain green tea instead of having 2 to 3 coffees a day.
Yeah.
I think, as you said, it just became like a habit to have like 3 caffeinated drinks a day. Yeah.
Yeah. And, and talk and think about, like somebody just brought up mindful eating, and this flows into that. Because when we have a habit, we tend, right? It's a habit. We just tend to do it. So can you take a pause and say, okay, do I really need this cup of coffee? Do I really, why do I want this cup of coffee? Taking that pause and saying, what do I really need right now? And then that way, and then you have a list too of, okay, so if I am feeling tired, what are my alternatives to do or have instead of coffee? And usually it's more water, and ironically, probably going out for a walk or getting some fresh air is going to give you more energy than that cup of coffee. So, being mindful of the why you're making the choices that you are, and being mindful of what other activities are going to give you that end result that you're looking for.
Mm-hmm. And going off of like the mindful eating and like this trend that we've seen on social media, as well as like far as anxiety around eating and like breaking the stigma around like healthy eating, as well as just eating when you need to. How do you think that, or what are some advice and tips that you have for people who are struggling with like anxiety around eating, or
Yeah.
going to a dining hall and eating around people? How can we cope with that?
Yeah. Well, one, finding the balance, so that you don't have that all or nothing thinking, like, like say you didn't have a good choice for breakfast and now you're like, okay, then the rest of the day's blown and I'm just going to have, whatever I want. I think of every meal as a Monday. So every meal is an opportunity to, make the choices that you want to make. In regards to anxiety, whether it's about your choices or about around people, one thing that's really helpful is, again, taking that pause and having a practice of deep breathing or meditation. If you have that practice that you have either in the morning or at night, any time of day, but that's something that you're doing consistently, it's something you can tap into really easily on the go. So, if you can even just deep breathing, take 4, count up to 4, deep breath, hold it for 4 and release for 4. Something that simple, it just resets your body and resets your mind. And so if you're in a cafeteria eating with other people, you can do that without bringing attention to yourself. And it's really quick. It's a reset. It kind of helps you just to, focus in on yourself and clear your mind. And then on the meditation, if you have a meditation practice, again, that's something you can tap into. It doesn't have to be 20 minutes. It can be really a couple seconds where it's just that reset that you're grounding yourself.
I guess similarly, there's also a lot of guilt around eating sometimes. Like, say you have a big meal for breakfast, and instead of thinking, oh, like my whole day is blown, I may as well eat whatever I want, it turns into, I had a bad meal, I shouldn't eat for the rest of the day. Or now I have to go almost like punish yourself and like go to the gym for eating. How can you cope with that?
Yeah, that's a lot of mindset work for sure. Taking the stigma out of certain foods, not labeling foods as good or bad. Again, not having that all or nothing thinking, taking each meal, each snack as it comes, making the choices. And sometimes we don't have the opportunity to make good choices, or what we feel is good choices. And what I like to ask myself when I take that pause is this something that will nourish me? And if you can ask yourself that, then, you'll make those choices. Sometimes the answer is, no, this will not nourish me, but this is what I want right now. Mm-hmm. And that's okay. That's okay. We can do that sometimes. And it's still being intentional with our choices and how we're eating. There's a difference between being intentional and just like feeling like the food is in control of you, where more you can control what you're choosing. So sometimes the answer is going to be like, yeah, I'm going out. There's going to be pizza and, I want to have it and, I'm going to have a drink and that's what I want to do. And I'm going to do that tonight. But the rest of the day, I had a balanced breakfast, I had a balanced snack. I drank all my water. I had maybe a little balanced snack before I went out and I'm good to go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I definitely think that that's something that I struggle with. Sometimes I kind of fixate on a bad meal and I think that I need to eat a certain way for the rest of the week even.
Yeah.
So definitely need to focus more on the positive than the negative.
And, one thing you can do when that has happened is, if you have a journaling practice or maybe start a journaling practice or even, write it in your phone or, on a notepad. Okay, so how did I feel after that meal? Mm-hmm. And not only like your mindset, but your digestion, your energy, all those things. How did I feel? Because that's going to help you answer that, like what's nourishing me and what's not. And, you're going to get to the point of like, yeah, that looks really good, but I'm not going to feel good, tomorrow morning. So, maybe I just have a little piece or a bite because I really want to taste it, but I don't want to have, all of it because I'm not going to feel good in the morning.
Yes, I agree. Definitely important to realize how you feel after you eat. Sometimes that does not hit me until I'm in the I don't feel good stage already. So not to bring COVID up, but obviously the last couple of years have been focused on immune system, building your immune system. Different foods and supplements have been advertised to boost and increase your immune system. What are some advice / tips that you have for boosting your immune system through food? Is there a correlation? How can you do it? How can you stay healthy, but also like give your body what it needs to fight?
Yeah, 100%. There's been a correlation between, our gut health and disease and COVID specifically, because everybody's, getting it and we're all getting it at different degrees, right? Based on our health. So to decrease your risk for any illness, is to eat whole foods, majority plant-based, decrease your processed foods, decrease your sugar, added sugars in foods, anything that feels inflammatory, in moderation. So all those things are going to help you have good gut health, which is going to help boost your immune system. So in addition to, not only nutrition, but like getting outside, being active, getting some sunshine, the meditation, the deep breathing, all of these things actually do boost our immune system. So, they're little things that we can do, but they're really important. And I think, the reality of our lives has been that first year of COVID, I think we were all pretty down and stuck inside and not eating really well. And then after a year of that, we were like, okay, wait, this is not working. I don't feel good. And so now I think everybody's focusing on like, okay, what are the changes I need to make to start feeling better? And now we're out more. So, we can get out there and do all those things and get to the Whole Foods and, not the store Whole Foods, but eat Whole Foods. And, eat those healthy whole foods that are not processed, and that's going to boost our immune system.
Okay. Looking back to when you were a college kid or farther than that, as recent as you want, whatever, what would you do differently than what you did as far as like nutrition and food and gut health?
Oh, so many things. Can't even count how many things I do differently. But what comes to mind is what's kind of funny, and is that I was always the girl with the snacks. Like in my backpack, I always had the snacks. We're in class, like you're starting to go down. I'm like passing out all the snacks, but they weren't great snacks. They were sugary snacks. They were processed. So that would probably be the one thing that I would definitely change. Like keep the snacks in my backpack, but what is in there would definitely be different. And I'm still that person. I'm never in a situation, or hardly ever, I should say, in a situation where I'm like, I got to eat something that I know is not going to sit well with me, because I got my backup plan. And I've got something in my bag with me, and I have enough to share. So the dark chocolate, berries, and nuts is my favorite thing to.
And I guess as a college student right now who had just came out of the pandemic and like we're getting back into the swing of things, when do you think we should reach out to you to ask for help? Or like, should everybody have a coach like you, or is it like, does it hit a certain point where you think that patients need to start coming in more frequently?
Yeah, I mean, of course, everybody needs like somebody to walk alongside them, right? And that's what a health coach does. Somebody to walk alongside you, help you figure out like where is it that you need to make changes. Specifically for me, I focus on very small changes. So because there is so much information out there, because it does feel overwhelming, and you can't hit everything all at once. So, we kind of take a big picture look, and then we go, okay, what's one small step we can make right now? And maybe the focus is like, okay, this is what's available to me in the cafeteria. Help. What do I do? And, that's a great place to start. And we can dig in deeper on, all the other options that you have to support what is in, what's available on campus. But yeah, I mean, anything. If it has to do with nutrition, sleep, activity, just creating those habits, sometimes having somebody just to break it down with you and help you set that goal, and then have the accountability, and you're checking in with somebody, makes a big difference. Yeah.
Agreed. I think accountability is a big part of it. And where can we find your services? What's your website, social media, everything where we can give you a follow and ask for help when we need it?
Yeah, so I'm on Instagram, Celia Kinville, and my email is celia@crkinville.com. That's my email, but I'm mostly on Instagram. That's where you can find me.
Amazing. Thank you so much. If you have anything else to say, feel free to say it, but thank you so much again for taking your time to speak with us today, and for all of your advice for nutrition, specifically college kids who are going through it, living in dorms and eating in dining halls.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you again so much.
Thank you. I really enjoyed our talk, and good. I'm sure everybody's finishing up their year, so enjoy your summer.
Thank you.